So I've been wondering, Sunny says, the fairy sit across the alley to the street across the candy shop. Why do you want a fish? It's bait. Stand back. Luna hefted a chunk of ice to her head and activated her powers, muffling the sound around them. She smashed ice on the ground, and clattering shards to make the slightest reverberation. There she allowed the sounds of daylight time village to filter back in. The fish is still flopping impotently on the ground. Or rather was left flopping impotently on the ground. Luna scooped up and shoved in the clownpiece's arms. Her entire body jerked side to side, struggling to contain the thrashing creature. Why are you giving it to me? I don't want it. Just hold it still for a second. She patted possibly found a short length of rope. What kind of weird animal is this? Don't you have fish in hell? No, this thing looks like Leviathan. What's Leviathan? He's a really powerful demon prince. Well, Sunny glanced all between her face and the fish. Well, this is just a normal fish. Shouldn't be a trouble for a fairy, right? Luna tied a rope around the fish's mill and pulled it tight. On the other end, she lifted and let the fish thrash in the air, bobbing back and forth like a drunken pendulum. There, now follow me. Under a combined cover of Sunny and Luna's abilities, the four fairies crossed the street and made their way to the candy shop's roof. A few centimeters at a time, Luna let out the rope to lower the fish to the still open window. So it's bait for a dog, right? Right! She smiled, apparently appreciating someone else realized their plan. If we lower it from here, we can get the dog to jump out the window, but he can't get to us. Whoa, Compy said, that's pretty smart. It really is. She leaned over the edge and frowned at the fish, but it's just sitting there flopping around. Why isn't the dog coming? You'll notice that sooner or later, right? Dogs eat this kind of thing. Sunny hesitated. Do they? I always thought dogs ate cats, Clumpy said. I don't think they do. Then why do they chase them? I don't know, but they eat gophers and squirrels and things. They could eat those and cats. Some of them might eat cats, but it's mostly squirrels. The point is they eat cats. Mostly fairies who don't shut up, Luna grumbled. They suspended their argument for a moment. Oh, she perked up and glanced at the roof beneath her. It's coming. You can tell. I can sense the vibrations. Whatever it is has 4 feet. Star's ability is really convenient like that, Sunny exclaimed. Why are you the one bragging about? Star's cut off the dog and lunged out the window. The dog that lived in the candy shop was not a small animal. It was tall enough to lunge out the window, for example. It was an immense, shaggy creature, part wolf and possibly part bull, with jaws that could wrap around a melon. In the right light, one could mistake it for a small bear, perhaps a locomotive that developed a fur coat and carnivorous tendencies. Luna just barely managed to jerk her fish away with his massive jaw shot in the air. What is that thing? Clownpiece shrieked. His name is Tiger, Star said, and dared take her eyes out the window. They say he ate 5 fairies once, Luna whispered. In one bite, Sunny added in a voice of terrified awe. Quivering nervously, Luna tested her luck again, leaning further over the edge of the roof and laying out more rope. The fish flopped in impotent terror as it lowered toward the window again. Oh my god. Tiger lunged once more, resting his paws on the windowsill to snap at the fish. Luna squeaked and jerked it back. You're close. Just a little more. Luna leaned as far over the edge as she could and lowered the fish one more time. This time Tiger took the bait, leaving out the window and snapping his jaws closer on the fish in a single motion. As gravity is inclined to do, he continued to fall till he landed on the ground. The rope was pulled along with him, and along with that was Luna. Hey! Luna was launched forward and left bouncing precariously as her rope tugging back against the rope. The other 3 fairies rushed forward to hold her in place. Below, Tiger snapping at the fish, pulling it, ending the rope more firmly in his mouth. In the process, he tugged on, and Luna gave a yelp of surprise. She jerked further, left leaning over the alley. So fairies are weaker than dogs, confirmed, or at least weaker than giant dogs. But to be fair, they could probably that one could probably pull a person along too. So I guess it doesn't mean much. Still, fairies are small. Hold on, Luna, Sunny said. All 3 fairies braced themselves and tugged back against the precipice, and that was their first mistake. Tiger's eyes turned toward the roof. He took the tug of the rope as a challenge and growled at a low seismic rumble and pulled back into retaliation. Squealing, the fairies were set stumbling forward until Luna was jetting over the alley in a 45-degree angle. Hold on, Sunny. On the count of 3, pull her back, okay? 1. Hold on, guys. Star said, I just realized 2. Why are we still holding on to the 3? They braced themselves and heaved backwards, and admirably they pulled Luna most of a meter for her leaning over the edge of staying firmly atop the roof. In return, Tiger braced up and tugged backward all of his might. All of them went tumbling over the edge. Star simply let go and watched wide-eyed as the crazed beast ran off with her 3 comrades screaming and bouncing in the rope behind it. Their second mistake was not letting go of the rope. Yeah, Star's the smart one. Out of sheer necessity, the durability of fairies is one of the most thoroughly studied phenomena in nature. There's barely culture on Earth that doesn't have its own rituals for warding off or exterminating troublesome fairies. These are, of course, all spiritual and arcane in origin. They are no less immune against physical damage than any other yokai. One could stab a fairy with a pitchfork and attack them with an axe while they're down. Indeed, many frustrated farmers have tried that, and while the fairy by no means enjoy this, she'll heal within a day at the most. For example, a fairy was dragged for half a kilometer, being dislodged against a rock set upon by an outraged dog and shaken like a ragdoll by the head before the beast grows tired and wanders off. Only permanent harm will be to her ego. Okay, set upon, shaken like... Okay, yeah, the dog did in fact ragdoll them. Jeez. When serving a spectacle like this, I recommend selling it with a light selection of snacks because it may take a while. That is sadistic. Holy shit. 45 minutes of being dragged off, Clownpiece, Sunny, and Luna struggle back to the candy shop under protection of Sunny's light manipulation. Their clothes are torn and dusty, hair is a mess, and Clownpiece's hat lost somewhere in a journey to great relief in my eyes. She has a jester hat, just for clarity. Star was waiting for a nearby rooftop, hugging to herself and eating an apple. Oh, you're back. We're back. Sunny's wings fluttered weakly as she slumped down on the rooftop. I was starting to wonder if that dog ate you. Only a little, Luna groaned, sprawled on the roof next to her. Dogs are even scarier than Oni, Clownpiece moaned. Huh, Stark, my so three of them took another bite of her apple. While you're out, found someone drying a clutch and still an outfit for the next step. The next step, Clownpiece asked. Right, someone needs to disguise themselves as human, right? Oh, Sunny bolted up to sitting. That's right, even if it's chewed up, we can get the dog out of the store. We can still keep going. Why do we need to disguise ourselves as humans, though? Clownpiece asked. Or keeps all the candy in a big case and he locks it whenever he leaves the store. Miraculously, hold on, Lewis said. Miraculously, Fairies seemed to have forgotten about their injuries now that new entertainment was beckoning. So he keeps the key inside his pocket, so anytime invisible, it's hard to steal the key unless he's distracted. So that's why I need you to pretend to be human and talk to him, Star said. Then Sunny will steal the key while he's paying attention to you. Clownpiece froze, her eyes going wild tear. What? Why me? Well, no one else can turn invisible, so it can't be me. He recognizes me and Star too, Luna said, so it probably won't work if it was us. Just how many times have you stolen from this guy? Star counted her fingers and gave up with a shrug. A few. Anyway. She crashed down and lifted up the stolen outfit. Let's get started. Clownpiece backed away. I barely talk to humans. What am I supposed to say? Anything's fine, but you can get him to crouch down and makes it easier to steal the key. But if it's stored, I don't have money. I'm sure you'll think of something. Clownpiece backed away, but now Sunny and Luna advanced and hold her from behind. Smiling, Star descended, clothes in hand. Why'd it have to be me? Clownpiece whined, herself tugging uncomfortably at the clothes as she walked down the street. A passing pedestrian gave her a certain look, and Clownpiece glared, tugging at her eyes and sticking out her tongue. The woman hurried on. The outfit Star grabbed was a simple yukata, probably someone's evening clothes. It was a little too large, threatening to trip her at every step. They failed to find a sash could instead use remains of heavily chewed rope, still doubtlessly smelling of fish. She hid in her wings, saw their flex enough to take the stress. They poked up just enough to give her lumpy shoulders. I don't even know why we have to go through all this anyway, and hell, I'll just become human and take whatever I want. Still grumbling to herself, Clownpiece opened my door at a candy shop, then she froze and stared in amazement. A sturdy glass and wood display divided the room into two. It contained more refined sugar than the rest of the region combined. Numma gumdrops, head-sized lollipops, licorice, peppermints, and other assorted sweets in a rainbow of colors. They were in quantities best measured in buckets, more than even a particularly gluttonous fairy could eat in an entire month. Behind the counter was the proprietor of the shop. Before I should continue, though, I should speak in defense of the shopkeeper. Some may think the use of his magical words to be excessive, and it would be irresponsible of me to hurt his reputation. According to my employer's maid, who makes infrequent visits to the store in question, he's a good-natured man who opened a shop as a way to bring happiness to local children. It said the local yokai got an unofficial agreement not to interfere with the store or the routes by which he receives his sugar, as his work is considered a public good. Fairies, having no sense of propriety, do not honor such agreements. In the years before escalating his security, suffered 11 incidents of theft through my collective hands. I can't think poorly of him doing his best to prevent incident number 12. He was a tall, bony man with a cane, leaning forward in his seat and looking over the shop with squinting eyes. His poor eyesight was likely the only reason he didn't see for the poor disguise in front of him. Ah, good morning. What are you in the mood for today, young lady? Clownpiece slowly approached the case of sweets in the same manner one might normally reserve for a divine relic. There was another few seconds for she managed to string words together. She stared in blind panic, scared with a piece together a lie. I'm the candy inspector. The candy inspector. He nodded along. Well, that sounds pretty important indeed. That's right, she thrust a finger at him. A pitiful human guy like you didn't stand a chance in someone like me. Well, there's no need to be rude, missy. Now what'd you come for, Miss Candy Inspector? At the back of the store, the window had been closed and it's now silently open again. The slightest distortion passed through it as Sunny and Luna slipped inside. She watched us for a moment for remembering her mission. I'm here to inspect your candy, obviously. Sounds pretty important, He pushed up to standing, cradling his hips sorely. Well then, what candy do you want to inspect first? Clownpiece looked over the heaps of candy. She seemed fascinated by colors and endlessly conflicted, and he didn't rush her. I'll have, that one. She pointed imperiously at the bin of lollipops. Ah, fine choice, I may say. That's 200 yen. Clownpiece froze. She didn't have the money after all. I'm here to inspect the candy, not buy it. You don't pay for an inspection. He reached her display case, but not hesitated, studying her face. You don't have any money on you, do you? Huh? parents these days. He shook his head with a sigh and gave her a knowing smile. Said they couldn't afford it? That's right. Well, I'll tell you what. I get a dozen kids in here trying stuff like this every week, but Candy Inspector is the best one I've heard for a while. I think such a good performance deserves some sort of reward, don't you? Clownpiece remained speechless, looking completely baffled by his turn of events. He crashed down to creaking of leathery joints and opened one of the bins. Working at a slow, deliberate pace, he scooped up a handful of gumdrops and poured it in a wax paper bag. While he worked, his front pocket deformed ever so slightly. Slightly as Honey invisibly fished a key out of it, he straightened up and offered a bag of gumdrops to Clownpiece. Here you go, kid. Just don't tell your friends, alright? I used to get paid occasionally if I'm going to stay in business. Clownpiece glanced at the bag of candies that were ticking about. Well, go on, he said. It's a present. Slowly, she stretched out a trembling hand toward the bag. Sunny grasped her other hand and yanked Clownpiece backward into a light distortion field. For a split second, she vanished sight with a startled gasp. The shopkeeper was left squinting around the room, bewildered. The only sign of his missing patron was a brief blurring of light as the three fairies climbed back out the window. The shopkeeper was, in my opinion, lucky that Clownpiece did not have the chance to take his gift. Many cultural traditions of offering food, drink, or money to fairies. It's typically believed in doing so you'll earn a local fairy's friendship and avoid misfortune. This is halfway correct in my experience. Giving fairies gifts is a practical way to befriend them, but unfortunately that means you have now befriended a fairy. This confers few benefits unless you enjoy being woken up by unexpected guests having a food fight in your pantry at 3 a.m. Why'd you pull me away? Clownpiece shouted. Sunny was tugging her across the street, regardless of how she didn't seem all enthusiastic. Only Luna's sound damn ability prevented her from alerting half the village. Huh? What do you mean? He's gonna give me candy. I almost had it. He was giving her candy and pointed out for you grabbed her, but she weren't listening. Well, whatever. She released Clownpiece's hands and entered the alley across from the store, allowing the three to become visible. Once we finish this, we'll have way more in one little bag of candy. You'll have, she frowned, searching for a appropriate metaphor. Lots of bags. Star hovered down to join the others. Did you get the key? Yup. She thrust in the air, glinting in the light. Now I do is find a place to be empty and we have the candy we want. Yeah, that's right. How do we do that? Clownpiece asked. They hesitated, glancing at her uncertainly. We'll have to wait, Sunny said. You wait? Yeah, at least for lunch pretty soon. We'll have the whole store to ourselves for a while, Star said. She looked at him skeptically. Well, if this candy stuff is so good, why is he going somewhere else to eat? Why wouldn't he just eat the candy for lunch? They all considered this. Humans are weird like that, says Luna's serious tone. They're too nigh along. Well, still, I don't see why I have to wait for him. I could drive him mad and threaten him with my torch till he offers all the candy we want. You shouldn't talk about stuff like that, Luna said. Rima will exterminate you for sure. In case you didn't know, her ability is literally to drive people insane by waving her torch at them. So yeah. Anyway, Clownpiece huffed and crossed her arms. Everyone does that in hell. Scaring humans helps them work off bad karma, so it's kind of like helping them out. You're kind of scary sometimes. Anyway, just get comfy and wait. Fairies, of course, are terrible at waiting. Within 5 minutes, all 4 of them had lost patience. Sunny was first, finding a piece of chalk in her pocket and discovered it could write in the adjacent building's roofing tiles. In the following half hour, Sunny and Clownpiece had gotten into a wrestling match where rights to use the chalk one for both and then temporarily too exhausted to stop Luna from taking it. Luna used it to draw a hopscotch board on the rooftop before discovered they had no idea how to play the game and settled for dropping pebbles on the heads of passing humans. An hour later, Shopkeep stepped out the front door on their way to lunch. Under the cover of their combined powers, the 4 fairies snuck back across the street. This time, with no one left to observe them, they head straight for the front door. On the way in, Sunny grabbed the close for lunch sign from the wall. As they were inside, she slammed viciously onto the floor. We're open for business. Yeah, Clownpiece shouted. Luna hurried over to the display case and crouched down to inspect the contents. What do we eat first? I want a lollipop, Star said. She removed a position behind the case and peeked over top. Can I have the key? Here you go. Sunny gave it an underhand toss she snatched out of the air. After unlocking the case, she tugged one of the bins out, revealing a heaping mound of peppermints. The other 3 fairies drifted into gawk. Wow. She thrust around a pile of candy to disappear past the elbow. There's probably 1 billion pieces of candy in here. It's more candy I've ever seen before, so the Clownpiece. You should try one, that's what we're here for, right? Right, yeah. She reached away for the candy while they watched her, beaming in excitement. Then quietly she pinched one between her fingers over inspection. It's pretty, I'll give it that. Just wait until you taste... Sunny went silent, freezing in place. A sound of footsteps came to the front door. Hello? A voice cut. Mr. Takeda, are you open? Clownpiece jumped to her right in surprise, the candy went flying, clattering across the floor. The light through the doorway dimmed as a figure pushed him inside. Run, Luna squeaked. They scattered, and Clownpiece threw into the back room of the store. Star, Sunny, and Luna for some reason threw up a cabinet behind the counter. Bowls, measuring cups, and their candy-making equipment spilled out, but the 3 clambered through the avalanche to squeeze themselves inside. They closed the door behind themselves and for a woman stepped through the doorway. She lingered on the threshold, peering around for a source of noise. Mr. Takeda? And in darkness, the cabinet saw Star an accusing look. Why are you looking for humans? Why didn't you take the close sign out of the front of the store? Shut up, Luna shrank against the floor of the cabinet like she was hoping to melt out of you. She's coming closer. The footsteps approach the one approach the display case to look over the fallen bowls and peek in the back room. I heard something fall. Is everything alright? She isn't going away, Sunny whined. Luna gave her a gentle shrug and made the entire cabinet rattle. Go get rid of her. Why me? It's your fault she came here in the first place. Yeah, but... Sunny was cut off as Luna braced herself against the door for the cabinet and shoved forward. Sunny tumbled backward, blowing through the cabinet doors to tumble across the floor. Star soon fell over a squeak of surprise. The two barely hit the floor for Luna lunged forward, grabbed the doors, and slammed shut around herself again. Hey Luna, Sunny screamed back to pound the cabinet. Let us in. What are you doing in here? Sunny whirled around, the one to enter the store and stared to the other side, looking at certainly at two fairies. We're new employees, Star said, so smoothly almost sounded convincing. Anything we can help you with? Sunny took a few seconds to catch on. Right, employees, that's us. Employees, but you're fairies. Right, but we're not fairies or shopkeeper yokai. Probably never seen one. We're really rare. She raised an eyebrow. Shopkeeper yokai. We call it when a shopkeeper bites someone. A cursed shopkeeper on the night of a full moon. Today's our first day, so please don't tell them we made a mess. Sunny stepped forward and nudged on the fallen equipment back toward the cabinet with her foot. Can we help you find anything? She glanced from the fairy to the fallen bowls to the closed for lunch sign, took a step away from the counter. Actually, I don't think so. Come back, you want to buy some candy, right? No thank you, took another step away as Sunny scrambled forward to convince her to stay, instead turned and ran to her door as swiftly as her outfit would let her. But in a second she disappeared through the doorway, leaving the fairies once again alone inside. Why do fairies lie? That question's a confounding one. In a literature review, my sis found of 246 records of fairies lying to humans or yokai. Only 39% of these instances end favorably for the fairies, only 7 of them do the art party truly seem to believe their lies. At first, face value to take the line with natural grace and aplomb of a horse trying astrophysics should be able to have little inclination to try it. One hypothesis that arises from a root of many fairy behaviors: entertainment. Spinning a lie is more amusing than simply fleeing when caught or stealing from a human without trickery. A fairy successfully lies to humans also has one more accomplishment to boast about. Alternatively, it could be the fairies lack the self-awareness to realize how incompetent they are, as with most things, and continue to do it regardless. Luna despondent, she climbed out of the cabinet hiding spot. She's gotta tell the other humans are here. She's gotta tell the other humans and Remus gonna come exterminate us. Compy speaked out from the doorway in the back room. That Shrine May is crazy tough. I don't want to fight her again. We didn't hurt anyone, Star said. At worst, she'll yell at us a lot. That's still pretty bad, Sunny said, shuddering. We should grab as much candy as we can and get out of here. Hey guys, Star said, look at this. He crashed down behind a counter and braced himself, pulling out a sturdy wooden box from underneath it. Sherry stuck the key into his lock and now opened the top to show up the contents. Piled within their shop's earnings for the day, easily 3,000 yen. The fairies stared at one, their faces lighting up and smiles one by one. Luna glanced there and said, are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? To your matter, especially just sighed. If we fill it with candy, we can take way more than we can carry in just our hands. Exactly! She opened the box and dumped the money on the floor and set it next to the candy bins. She pulled in a double handful of liquor from one and dumped in the box. Hurry before more humans get here! It should be noted the fairies do understand the value of money, at least especially the ones that can actually count. However, they're creatures of impulse and have little concept of delayed gratitude. A fairy might experience would rather have a toy worth 10 yen than 2,000 yen bill in an hour. This must of course be weighed against their other motivations. If stealing money seems like an interesting diversion, there might be enough to make them value it over another goal. With this in mind, I found that money is a very important motivator in negotiating with fairies. I would treat better results with pastries, shiny objects, and threats of violence. Makes sense. The fairies didn't stop stuffing candy in the box was so full of clown piece and Luna to stomp on the lid in order to close it. The resulting load was heavy enough to require 2 of them to carry and a third to help heft it up in the way of the window. Do you think that human's still outside? Clown piece asked. Hold on, Sunny said. I'll go check. Sunny faded from view and pulled herself out the window, laying on the alley floor with a thud. After a few seconds she peered over the edge, fully visible. The coast's clear. Hurry up, let's get out of here. Luna, Clownpiece, and Star cooperated to shove the box out the window, and then carefully ease it down so Sunny could just balance it by herself. Star slipped outside to help transfer it over. After a few minutes of work, they managed to maneuver it outside. So, what now, Luna asked, stringing under a shared way of the box. It's a really long walk back to you guys' tree. You're gonna carry this giant thing all the way there? That's true. We could hide it somewhere. Like a buried treasure, Star said. We don't have shovels, though. That's even better. No one's ever heard of a not buried treasure. They won't even think to look for it. At this point, we feel it important to give some background information on our participant in these events. Tiger, the dog. To my understanding, most of the fairies' comments about him are true. He is in fact trained by the shopkeeper to particularly hate fairies, baited him as a puppy to attacking pieces of fairy-scented cloth to learn to associate the smell with hate. While it's doubtful that he, quote, ate 5 fairies in one bite, as they asserted, I'd like to think he gave it his best attempt. Whether out of malice or pure serendipity, Tiger has now appeared in the mouth of an alley, freshly returned from hours of enjoying his newfound freedom. One by one, the fairies noticed his new intruder and went still. Sunny, we're still invisible, right? Right, and you made it clear you can't hear us, right? Right! They didn't dare budge. Tiger lowered his nose and sniffed the alley floor. His tail began to wag. Clampi shifted uneasily. Can earth dogs smell as good as hellhounds? You have dogs in hell? Mostly just Cerberus. He's not scared in this wimpy earth dog. Even so, she eased as far away from him as she could without dropping her corner of the box. He's 3 meters tall and has 3 heads. If he has 3 heads, how do they decide which one gets to eat stuff? Tiger sniffed his way down the alley till he was a few meters away, then paused. He looked up, staring past the invisible fairies, and a low growl rose in his throat. Let's walk away really slow, okay? Okay. They took a careful step backwards, and Tiger took another step toward him. Nice doggy? She raised a plastic hand toward him. Tiger leaned closer and snipped at his nose centimeters from her fingers and bared his teeth. Star shrieked, "Run!" The fairies fell in disorder. Star and Clampy's turned and took off in a sprint, dropping the run into the box. Most of the remaining weight fell to Luna, bowling over and nearly crushing her. Sunny saw Star, her invisibility faltered, revealing the entire group. Snarled and howling, Tiger leapt after the helpless fairies. Hapless, I should say. The box of candy fell to the alley floor and smashed to splinters, scattering its contents in an explosion of color. The fairies' canine delivered contribution lasted for half an hour. When it ended, they were halfway across the village from the candy store. In an unspoken agreement, they turned and slouched back toward home. They were defeated in broken group. Clownpiece had lost a stocking during the scuffle. Scunny's skirt was ripped in half and hanging by a thread. Luna had lost both her shoes. One of Star's wings was bent, and each of them were covered in scrapes, bruises, and bite marks. Some injuries that leave a human bedridden for days. On Fairies, they already started rapidly healing, but they were still moaning and groaning, each trying to prove their own misery was the weightiest. This sucks. A dog that big is just cheating. We didn't even get any candy out of it. I still haven't had any candy, Clownpiece said. She gave a pebble a dejected kick. It ricocheted off a tree across the path and came back to smack her in the thigh and drawing a muttered string of insults. Even the landscape had turned on her. I think he ate my socks, Sunny said. He did eat my hat. I watched him. I still have dog fur in my mouth. I think I've got rocks in my hat, she grumbled. Wait. So she got her hat back? Oh, wait, no, that's Luna's hat. Well, yeah, they could probably beat up the dog if they honestly try, but they're terrified of the thing, so... You know, fairies aren't exactly the bravest or the smartest. I think I got rocks in my hat, Luna said. Grumman shook it off and gave a few good shakes. Rather than rocks, 4 gumdrops fell to the ground. Clownpiece drew to a stop alongside her. Star and Sunny looked backward and caught a glimpse of them too. Soon all 4 gathered in a circle, staring at Candy's wide-eyed and agape. Are there any more? No, Sunny snatched Luna's hat and gave it a smack, but no more candy fell out. How'd they get in there? They must have rolled in while the dog had pinned me to the ground, didn't notice when I put it back on. Also, virulently, she crouched down and grabbed a gumdrop. The others followed suit. They're probably still mostly clean. I wash my hair every day, Luna said, signing defensive. They should taste fine. They're just a little dusty. Dogs can be scary, yes. Besides, they think this dog literally eats fairies, even though it got through trying to twice and failing. Instead of responding, Clumpy simply popped a gumdrop in her mouth. The others watched expecting didn't have to wait long. Her eyes widened, followed by a low squeal of delight in her mouth. Whoa, it's delicious! They're great, aren't they? Star popped it in her own mouth. They're super sweet, the sweetest thing I ever tasted. Candy is the best, Luna agreed, putting a handful in her own mouth. The fairies were quiet, grinning in satisfaction to finish their candy. Each had a single piece, and it barely took a few seconds. Even so, after they were left looking entirely satisfied, their earlier injuries temporarily forgotten. Even after all that, we still managed to steal some candy. Well, of course, that dumb human should have known better and try and keep me out. Clownpiece whirled back toward the village, shaking a fist at it. I'm the mighty Hell Fairy. Clap! The last her gumdrop got stuck in her throat and she trailed off, coughing and sputtering. Clownpiece! The three fairies are affected by our coughing fit, taking this as the most inspirational speech they ever heard. Yeah, that'll teach them to mess with fairies. If we can steal from a heavily guarded place like that, it's probably nowhere in Stoke we can't get to. Maybe tomorrow we can try the sake brewery. Energized and excited and re-energized, they continued shouting suggestions as they went back to their tree. Conclusion. While fairies are capricious and impulsive, mistake to dismiss them as entirely unpredictable. I maintain that most of fairy behavior can be understood while arising from a need of constant stimulation, a lack of self-preservation, and disregard for social conventions. There are novel behaviors this model doesn't adequately explain, but I'm confident more observations only expand, not refute it. As fairy studies have gotten little attention, I hope these observations will help motivate further research in this long-neglected field. Additionally, further research is warranted a deterrence value of large dogs. And that's where it ends. But I thought that was a lovely little short story there.